Today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chikudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning. Starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with Teary Sanusi. I thought I would die before Wigwe. And of course, the full story showing that the night of tribute for late Wigwe. You can see that on page 8. Bloodbath in Benue, 50 killed as militia gangs go to war. Tinubu has clear strategy to reform economy, says Bagudu. On page 25, federal government threatens to revoke discourse licenses over poor power supply. Stories above, effective implementation of extant laws make expatriate levy needless, and that's coming from OPS on page 19. You can read more on that. On page 7, Edo Guber, Shaibu served impeachment notice as Oshiomhole denies involvement. Rider says the SLPP condemns move. Shaibu keeps mum, consults his lawyers. NLC-TUC issue 7-day ultimatum Soludo over workers' welfare. We are determined to consolidate our 2023 superior performance, and that's coming from NPA. Says implementation of performance improvement measure key. We take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with outages. A minister threatens this goes with license revocation. Right, it says willful non-performance won't be tolerated. Distribution companies CCN summoned. Tinubu, Awolowo's legacy principles live on. MPA plans a $1 billion reconstruction on Tinkan, One Port, others. Apapa, Warri, Calabar also listed. Bureaucracy, cash crunch store e-passport issuance. Stories above. APC draws battle line with governors over 16 lawmakers. Controversy trails killing of 30 in Benue, family of 7 wiped out. 21 of 24 lawmakers signed Shaibu's impeachment notice. President paid glowing tributes to Herbert Wigwe. We take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with deaths, unaccountable security votes may hobble state police plan. And that's page 6. Of course, you can see a photo story showing the governors of the states. And on page 3, Boko Haram strikes again, raises several homes in Benue. MPA to consolidate 2023 performance, reconstruct Tinkan Port. You can read that on page 4. Our students lament unpaid scholarships, seek Tinubu's intervention. Appeal court strikes out federal government's bid to retry Ojikalu on alleged 7.6 billion naira fraud. A 7-year-old Nigerian lawyer turned caregiver dies in UK. Edo Assembly begins impeachment process against Shaibu. And lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, Nigeria's survival depends on food, health, housing agenda across states, says additional. We'll take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with 24 states can't pay salaries without federal government allocation, and that's coming from budgets. The writer says the 24 states to pay 1.48 trillion salaries in 2024 but generate 914 billion naira IGR. Governors advised to boost IGR. Ondo, Yobe, Sokoto, Plateau, Niger, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Cross River, Delta, Abia, others affected. Of course, we can see a photo story showing additional wins Awolowo prize. Says low productivity costs Africa $2.6 trillion yearly. Troops comb bushes for 101 abducted women. IDP homes burned. You can read that on page 12. Federal government foreign scholarship beneficiaries lament unpaid 8-month stipends. Minimum wage labor slashes demand to 500,000 naira. Stories above, 30 killed in Benue, fresh attack. Senate to meet Tinubu. Blackout, so federal government threatens to revoke discourse licenses. And last on the front page of the Punch newspaper, CBN printing of 22 trillion naira under by-fraud inflation, and that's coming from Edo. That's how we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. For just joining, still today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chikudi. Joining to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is Mr. Soludo, publisher of Global Financial Digest. It's good to have you join me this morning, sir.
Good morning, Precious. Thanks for having me today.
All right, let's delve in. And of course, it's been night of tribute for late Herbert Wigwe, his wife Doreen, and his late son Cheesy. And we've been seeing all the encomiums that's been dropping in as a result of who Wigwe was when he was alive and all of that. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much. Herbert Wigwe is somebody I know personally, related with personally. So, his death, is a very shocking. Exactly the mode of death, the way he died was a shocking uh, news to Nigerian as a whole, as a nation. And is it? I wrote something about a tribute to him yesterday, or day before yesterday. Is in death that his quality actually came out. Many people all over the world they hate bankers because they hate bankers, they hate police. They hate bankers because they believe bankers steal from them and under the rest. But the other side of Albert is being shown to the world today through his numerous involvement in social enterprise, involvement in people generally. So for me, it's a deserving testimony for a life well spent. Like I wrote in one of the things I wrote is that his life was like he was in a hurry to achieve. It's like a man who knows that he's not going to stay here for too long. And the way he drives himself, you can see the transformation of access to corporation, for example, has been tremendous in the last couple of years since he took over as a MDG GCO. So it's a well-deserved testimony, tribute people have been paying to him. Unfortunately, there's nothing anybody can do about death. Death will always come. And it's unfortunate, but we have seen many bankers have died in whatever they tried and the way they were celebrated was not as big as this one. That shows you that there's something about him that it was not revealed to many people while he was alive until his death. And like I said, it's a lesson for many of us to know what's our life worth. Is it what the naira and cover, the houses we build, the car we build, or the impact we make on people? That's what matters to most people, to what matters to people really. And that's exactly the message people should take out from what's happened today. Despite the tragic death, it's not about the mode of death. Is because of the impact it has made in various sectors of the economy, in politics, in social enterprise, in humanity, to generally impact on humanity. And I trust that God will console his children, will uphold his children and his family.
Amen. All right, moving on. No fewer than 50 persons were killed on Tuesday in Benue State by suspected armed Fulani militias in a battle to oust another thief militia gang in the area. How do you react to this, brutal killings?
Unfortunately, this has been going on for too long in Benue, in Plateau. And I'm sure all the security agents knew the reason behind the killing. It is obvious there have been reports of how some militia from even outside this country were recruited to drive the indigenous from their land, not to take over their land for grazing and for the rest. And so it is obvious we know who are behind this thing. Why the security team are not able to track them and stop them is what we can only explain. And why government still allows such bloodbath to continue in Benue, in Plateau, is what we cannot explain. The president had to muster the political way to actually deal with this issue decisively once and for all. Benue is like a full basket for Nigeria. You go to Benue, for example, I've been to Benue. Their mango is as big as human's head, kind of thing. And they have a vast fertile land to produce food. Because they have a river Benue very close to them. And the grazer, because they have been driving away from the Sahel regions, where desert is fast encroaching. They are trying to move down to where they can find a pasture and water to graze their cattle. And the only thing they know about is fighting war, jihadist war, to drive people out of their land. And the government of Nigeria has the responsibility to protect life and property. And that's what they need to do. So I will implore the president to actually move in action and do different things from his predecessor. Do different things from what the past government has done. For the body language of the past president, we know he encouraged some of those things, supported some of those things. But this president should make a difference. and do something to save life, if only to save life. And what we are talking about today, if food inflation is going up because farmer cannot go back to farm and produce food, and we have food shortage in this country. If you allow this insecurity to continue, people continue to grow for lack of food, and we have a major crisis in our hands. So government need to move in. I need to empower the security agency, need to mobilize them, and need to set the right type of security agent to that place that will not compromise national security, and they do the needful, and to flush this militia away from the land and keep Nigerians safe for all Nigerians, regardless of where they come from.
All right, there have been calls for the review of security architecture, and although you've given us some of the ways, what other ways do you think that the government can look at in terms of finding a lasting solution to this problem?
I think the security agency know what to do. I think it's a political way to do it. That you can deploy technology. We have drones. We can borrow from what happened in Israel Hamas war today. And I mean, how all this, their intelligence, their technology, their drones you can use to map out, to locate those intruders and to target them and track them to their location and take them out. We have in those days, I remember during when we purchased to Kano there from America, we are saying we have found solution to all our security. To Kano just take 1,000 of insurgents away and the rest. What have we done with those purchases? What have we done with those equipment? We are the time we are saying we are linking our NIN mobile so they can track people, can know their location, can be able to track criminals and arrest them. What have we done with those facilities? So we have all it takes to nip insecurity in the bud. We have technology, we have a global mapping the area. We have satellites to exactly locate where the attack is taking on and send a jet over to take them out. We have people who can track them. They are not from 10 years. They come from one place together and they move from one place before they get to their location. We can track them. What the security people are doing, I think the major issue is the political will on the part of the government to do the right thing and to be decisive, because Nigeria are polarized on regions and tribal something. But we should not allow this to continue, because it will affect the nation economy, because if there's no food supply, people will go to other food shortages. If there's no job, more people will join crime. Because if you are sending people out to their farm and they cannot produce, they cannot sell, and they have to find a way of making money. Some of them will go into crime, and instability is costing. So government need to look at the cost. What is the impact of this on the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian people, and do something. When President Tinubu will do well to review the strategy, to review the leadership or security agency around the area, and deploy the proper personnel who can track, who can nip this in a bud. And this is the right time for us to do it.
All right, moving on, the Minister of Power has threatened to revoke licenses of distribution companies over poor power supply. What's your take, and do you think that is the solution to the epileptic power supply?
Unfortunately, the government has no solution to what is happening. I believe the privatization of the distribution sector, the of the power system was done in such a way that does not really align with the purpose which was meant to be under the President Jonathan's regime. Over time, there would have been a form of restructuring to ensure that we have the right people in place. Initially, those who bought those NEPA PhD, then they don't have the right capital, they don't have the right resources to turn the things around. Power sector requires good resources to deploy to, because over the year we have aging equipment, aging transmission, aging distributions, aging transformer, and the rest. And the people who are taking that should be able to muster enough resources to replace all this equipment so that can have efficiency. Today we have capacity to produce 10,000 megawatts of power. We're distributing less than 4,000. We are distributing out of the capacity we have. Why? Because we don't have the system cannot carry it. That's why we keep having great collapse all the time. The system cannot carry it. These are things that the measure they would have considered when they are privatizing the distribution system. Unfortunately, those who bought them, they don't have the resources. and they can't have the capacity to manage. I think what government to do is to pick out some of those weak disco and reset them, take over revoke their license and set those areas to competent people where they can do the right thing, when they have the resources and the capacity to manage the system. Otherwise, we will not have to improve power supply. The power supply have been very poor in the last couple of months. Since this year, they have been terrible. In my area, for example, they have been terrible. They have been off and on. And until we do the right, because power is germane to economic growth. If you don't get it right from the area of power, no matter what government do in the area, economy will be sluggish. And we will not be able to build capacity to generate employment, to generate economic growth in this country. That's why government need to take that area very seriously. And it doesn't take a rocket science to do. Restructure the system. And part of the structural system is to those who are not performing, revoke their license. Government owns 40% of those businesses anyway. So government still have 40% of those disco. So they can revoke it and or increase the capitalization. Government can increase its capitalization in that place to 50%. And send the remaining 50% to private sector. They can collaborate who has the capacity to run the place, and we can be to have improvement, greater improvement in power supply in this country, rather than having capacity to produce 10,000 megawatts and supply 3.5% megawatts to a nation of 200 million. It's not good. Government need to do something seriously, and I will support if they need to revoke. So I will align with them on that matter really.
Yeah. One of the things we've also gone through is this national grid collapse. What do you think that the minister and his team can do to bring a shorter term solution once the country witnesses a total system collapse?
They have a lot of things to do. Like I said, restructure the disco, because they are the off-taker of the production. And if you are giving them power and they are rejecting it, automatically the system probably it will bounce back in the system and lead to collapse of the system. They cannot take the capacity. Cannot take them. The investment on a power line transmission, have they examined it? Have they audited it? Have they discovered that what we are investing in those areas, we are getting value for money? The government has a lot to do. We have invested so much in that sector. We are not getting value for money because a lot of corruption in the system. So we need to deal with corruption in the system to ensure no matter the volume of investment we are putting there, we are getting for the system. The transmission line are being rebuilt. We are having the substation that have the capacity to carry those power they are sent to them to transmit to the distribution company. And if you have to restructure, so if you need to employ people abroad, Nigerians abroad who have the capacity, we can bring them in like an expatriate in those countries and bring white people here. Bring Nigeria who are experts in this area as an expatriate to earn so as they can help to restructure the system and do the right thing. What we need to do, government is aware of it, they are commissioned various reports, various research on it, and they know it. What we don't have is the ability for people to drive the system because of the embedded corruption, embedded entrenched interest in the system that's sabotaging the economy. And government has the power to have the capacity to deal with these people if they really want to do it.
Alright, moving on before we go now, organized labor have issued a 7-day ultimatum to Governor Soludo within which to address certain issues concerning the welfare of workers in the state. Now, according to them, they are saying that the contributory pension scheme in the state is a scam. What are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, Soludo is somebody I know too when he was in CBN as a governor, because I covered that industry for a very long time. His governance in Anambra has been a serious disappointment. There's so much expectation that he will probably do a lot more than the typical politicians who have been ruling the state. Unfortunately, he has not done much to actually earn the respect and meet the expectation of people in that state. There are a lot of things for him to do, and I'm sure he has his eyes on the second term. If you really want to get the second term, he needs to be able to restructure his governance, need to restructure his direction, and do things that will actually make the people in that place. It's a very disheartening thing that people will work in and they are not getting commensurate remuneration and no wages and which are not even paid regularly. The pension you deduct from people's salary, they are not limiting to the right place. So what is the essence? So when they retire, they start waiting for their gratitude, start waiting for their entitlement. That's what it means. So this is a man who is vast in economy as imagined, and he knew the opinion of some of these things, and yet they are not doing it. I think the government need to sit up and do the right thing and look at the way. And for today, most states are getting more revenue. Their revenue from professional account has doubled since the floating of the naira, since the removal of subsidy. The revenue they are earning from it has already doubled from about 500 billion they are sharing monthly before. They are spending about 1.something trillion today. So what they are earning has already doubled. And what are they doing with those money? And that's the question we need to be asking them, and people need to put them on their toes. So that's why the labor comes in. They should put the governors on their toes to do the right thing, so that the ways of people will be catered for, rather than just the government spending the money on unnecessary white elephant projects. That's what we need to do. So labor need to put the governors on their toes. And so for me, the agitation it has my own support in instance of it, because if you are not limiting the pension to the right sources, what happened thereafter when they leave service? What happened to the people? What happened to the money? So these are the questions people need to ask and need to do, and the government need to sit up and do the needful.
All right, so let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And Mrs. is speaking this morning. She says, "You called another woman an angel in my presence. What's so special about her? What has she got that I haven't? So she's an angel, hey." And then Mr. replies, "Come on, dear, you're not in the same category. She's just an angel, you're a goddess."
This smart guy now, he wants to put fire on his roof, so he has already manipulated himself out with English. It's the best way to do. Otherwise, after you call you another person an angel in the face of your wife. So I say, okay, no, you're not an angel, you are bigger than an angel. So I'm sure you have pacified the wife in the sense of it. And like I already said, the nuances in the language in the conversation is very, very interesting to me as a person. And I love it every day. We're looking forward to look at Mr. and Mrs. read from them, because if people really read it genuinely, they will learn one or two lessons from that kind of conversation to help their home and to put peace, calmness in their home. So kudos to the person behind it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Wigwe Emmanuel, publisher of Global Financial Digest. Thank you for sharing your thought with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me today, and have a lovely day.
Yeah. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find up-to-date stories, go to our website www.vanguardindia.com to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you.